Hello, my fine, fickle American friends. This is Michael Mackey for President, and I want to talk to you real quick today about the United Socialistic States of America. We are no longer a republic, a capitalist republic. We are a socialistic state. Our Congress believes in socialism. The United Nations believes a one world monetary economy system. It's impossible. I mean, you can see they tried to do it with the euro, and everything's fallen apart, and we can get really technical, and I am not going to give the American people a bunch of intellectual blah blah blah. Liberals do that and try to confuse everybody, and I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about socialism in America, and I'm going to talk about the actual beginning of socialism in America came with Woodrow Wilson. He was an evil, petty little man, and he believed in progressivism. He believed in redistribution of wealth and everything. Now, in his defense, back then, America was going through a lot of changes, and nobody really understood the real concept behind socialism, and Marxism seemed like a pie in the sky utopia. And also, back in that day, in that time frame, we had a lot of communists and Nazis, and our Congress was just chock-a-block full of different factions of different people. And this went on through until McCarthy cleaned it up, and he's touted as this evil, evil man, but really he was a hero. And I'm not going to argue with you about it. You can do the research, but he was villainized for attacking like actors and actresses like Jane Fonda or Sean Penn. You know, Sean Penn is a big socialist activist. He likes Chavez. He goes and visits there all the time. And, you know, McCarthy wanted communism out. And he wanted to clean up the Congress and clean up the United States, and he wanted to reinstitute the Constitution, and he got vilified by the liberals. But anyway, Woodrow Wilson started it. He started implementing the social programs and stuff. And then you had Harding, who died in office. He did 2 years, but you had the Depression of 1920, and they came to Harding and they said, we want debt. We want some debt relief. We want some bailouts. We want some social programs, and we want to increase taxes and all this other stuff. And Harding said, no. He said, that's not in the Constitution. He says, what I'll do for you is I'll cut government spending and cut taxes. And then he died, and Coolidge took over, and Coolidge stuck to the plan. And within 5 years, we were at 23% unemployment at 1920. In 1923, we were at 5% unemployment. In 1925, we were at 1% unemployment. The bottom line is 1% unemployment. You know, in your lifetime, you haven't heard of that. And you had the Roaring Twenties. And there's a lot of movies out there. People should understand that the Roaring Twenties wasn't just about, and that's right, it wasn't just about prohibition and people partying behind the doors. It was about affluency. Everybody was affluent. I mean, the lower class was like the middle class, and the middle class was mixing with the upper class. There were no lines that were drawn between the upper class and the middle class. Everybody was happy. And then we got Hoover. And this was 1928, something like that. But anyway, and Hoover was liberal, socialist, and so was Roosevelt. So you've got Hoover, then Roosevelt, that really solidified the progressive and the socialist movement. And here is the agenda from the Socialist Party platform in 1928, and their platforms. There's 14 of them, and the 14 platforms that are here, we've met. And I'm going to read them to you really quick. Naturalization of our natural resources, beginning with the coal mines and water sites. You remember, this is 1928, particularly at Boulder Dam and Muscle Shoals. Boulder Dam, renamed Hoover Dam, and Muscle Shoals are now both federal government projects, along with, you know, they control our natural resources. You know that. They do it through the EPA. Obama does. We're not allowed to drill. We can't do this. We can't do that. Blah, blah, blah. when we could survive all by ourselves, but the government controls the programs, and so we're socialistic. A publicly owned giant power system under which the federal government shall cooperate with the states and municipalities in the distribution of electrical energy to the people at cost. That's the Tennessee Valley Authority, but it's also GE, okay? So remember, the government, they're still controlling the big electric companies, big power systems, national ownership and democratic management of railroads and other means of transportation and communication. Amtrak is government owned. Some freight services nationalized through Conrail, and FCC controls communications by telephone, telegraph, radio, television. The American government controls our airlines. I mean, they control everything. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand. This is 3 platforms that we've already met. An adequate national program for flood control, flood relief, reforestation, irrigation, and reclamation. FEMA, and I mean, that's what FEMA does. They go in and they're supposedly supposed to help these people, but they don't. But that's just so we can get more dollars so the government can have more power. I'm trying to explain to you why you have to have these things in place. Everybody thinks it's because the government's here to help. But they're not. They're only here to promote socialism, to promote their elitism. Now, you might believe everybody. I just can't believe that you could be stupid enough to believe the government is in there helping out the little people, because they're not. They're helping out themselves and the people that put them in office. Okay, immediate government relief of the unemployed by the extension of all public works and programs of long-range planning of public works. WPA, PWA were direct counterpart. Unions, all persons thus employed to be engaged at hours and wages fixed by bona fide labor unions. The Davis-Bacon and Walsh-Heliax required contractors with government contracts to pay prevailing wages, generally interpreted as highest union wages. Unions, unions, unions. We need unions, more unions, more unions, more unions. Takes money and power away from the American people. Once again, it gives it to government. And believe me, I'm trying to put it in simple terms that you can understand. If you want to get intellectual, we can do that on a case-by-case basis. Loans to states and municipalities without interest for the purpose of carrying on public works and the taking of such other measures as will lessen widespread misery. Federal grants and aid to states and local municipalities currently total tens of billions of dollars a year. A system of unemployment insurance, which is Social Security. The nationwide extension of public employment agencies in cooperation with city federations of labor. That is more unions, local employment offices through the government. A system of health and accident insurance and of old age pensions, as well as unemployment insurance. That would be Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, and now the new Obamacare. Dun, dun, dun! So far we're meeting every single wicket of the socialist agenda. Shortening the workday and securing to every worker a rest period of no less than 2 days in each week. Legislated by wages and hours and laws that require overtime for more than 40 hours of work per week. Pretty much. Enacting of adequate federal anti-child labor amendment. It hasn't been achieved as amendment, but it's incorporated in legislative acts. And let me explain something to you. This doesn't mean children that are working in factories for no wages making tennis shoes. They're talking about 16-year-olds that want to go out and get a paper route. Okay? I mean, it's tough for kids to get part-time jobs and stuff now. You know, and I don't know, I worked when I was a kid. When I was 16, I started working 40 hours a week and went to high school and was on the honor roll. So, you know, I mean, my parents were poor. I grew up in the ghetto. I mean, that's what I had to do. Of the brutal exploitation of convicts under the contract system and substitution of a cooperative organization of industries and penitentiaries and workshops for the benefit of convicts and their dependents. And now Congress wants them to be able to be let out on work programs and have the ability to vote. So if you're a convict and you're let out of prison because the government let you out of prison, aren't you going to back that government? Woohoo! Yeah, you are! And you're going to get jobs as, you know, probably if there's an uprising, they're going to incorporate you into their military like that. Increase of taxation on high income levels? Wow, that just doesn't happen, does it? No! Of corporation taxes, inheritance taxes, the proceeds to be used for old age pensions and other forms of social insurance. That doesn't happen, does it? No, we're not a socialist society. Woo! I'm not even going to if you don't know that that's not happening, you're a moron. I know I keep saying moron and idiot. My real belief is the American people aren't morons and idiots. They're busy with raising their families and stuff. But I'm trying to get across to you that now is the time to stop the madness in Congress, because we're going to end up in civil war. And it's going to be ugly. And it's going to be during your kids when they grow up. They're going to be picking up guns and trying to protect their rights and freedoms, and it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be quick. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be ugly. And this is the last one. Appropriation by taxation of the annual rental value of all land held for speculation. It's not achieved in that exact form, but property taxes are insane. If you own property, the government owns most of the property in the United States. I'm not sure you understand that, but it's true. And if you own property, you're paying out your butt property taxes, which is ridiculous. You should be able to buy your property, pay the, and once again, we're talking about the sale tax program. You pay 15% of whatever the property costs, and that's it. That's all. That's it. We're done. The government doesn't get to make any changes anymore. We need to get out of this socialistic bullshit. We are Marxists, so we are an inch away from Marxism. If you don't think, right now they're trying to give Obama the power to override this debt crisis we're having and override Congress to be able to implement, to raise the debt ceiling on his own. So now Obama can go to war, he can raise the debt ceiling. He's a demigod. The guy is destroying our country systematically, and I'm not saying it's all his fault, but believe me, there are three major people that moved this country towards socialism. That's Woodrow Wilson, Roosevelt, FDR, and Obama. You want to know who's the worst? Obama. You want to know who's the evilest? Probably Woodrow Wilson. But then it's Obama. Roosevelt thought he was doing the right thing. That doesn't mean he wasn't wrong, but he thought he was doing the right thing. But what he did is he just, well, you're going to see. The Great Depression, this is going to bypass the Great Depression. This is going to be big. We're going to be the Great Depression, and people don't understand. It's going to hit, and it's going to hit hard, and it's going to hit fast. Michael Mackey for president at www.vitocracy.com. Go there, sign up. Come on, back me. I like my angry videos better. I just wanted you to know that we're socialists. We're socialists. There's no two ways about it. We're the United Socialist States of America. I mean, accept it and let's move on. Now, we can be socialists or we can reboot the system. I say reboot the system. Vote for Mackey for president at www.mackeyforpresident.com. Email me at michaelmackey@mackeyforpresident.com. Come on, let's do this. Let's wake up. Let's put someone in office. You need a businessman in office, and that's me. You need a businessman. You need someone who can balance the budget. You need someone who cares about the people. And believe me, I don't care about me. I care about the people, and I care about our children, and that's what you should care about. If you don't care enough, if you don't want to vote for me, find someone else who will do the same things I will do. But I don't believe anybody out there has the balls. And take it. Republicans and Democrats are the same. Bad, bad, bad. So please, please, wake up! Vote for Mackey! Tired of this crap! Come on!